These are object-oriented features. Any programming language which supports all these object-oriented features is called as object-oriented programming language. These are class, object, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction. Object. Object is the basic element in any of the object-oriented programming language. All the object-oriented programming languages completely based upon the object itself. And an object is represented with two things. One is state, another one is the behavior. Generally, a state represents the properties or how the object looks like, whereas the behavior represents the what the object is doing. Anything that is existing in the real world can be represented by using an object. If you take a cat, a dog, a person, a table, a classroom, everything that is existing in the real world can be represented in the form of an object. For example, these are the some of the objects. If you take an example of dog as an object, as I said, it is having the state, and the state represents the properties. The if dog is considered as an object, the properties of the dog are age, color, name, and the behavior is represented what it does. What the dog does is eating, it can sleep, or it will run. And if we are representing the object in the programming language, the state or the properties are represented in the form of a instance variables, whereas the behavior is represented in the form of a methods. And whenever you are creating an object, it will be allocating some space in the computer. That means it will take some space in the memory. The objects, once you are creating the objects, it requires some space. A class, like unlike an object, which is a physical thing, a class is a logical entity. A class represents the prototype or it represents the blueprint what each and every object has to follow. And the objects are created from the classes. As I told, since the class is a logical entity, it won't require any memory. A memory will not be allocated if we create the classes. And all the objects with the similar behavior and group together and we'll be assigning a class. And this is the meaning of the objects with this with the similar behavior or group together. If you consider this image, here the cookies are the physically existing, and this is the heart shaped cookies. All the cookies with the heart shape are grouped together and we can call them as um, heart cookies. Similarly, we can create the one more type of cookies which is of circle color shape, and those are called as a circle type of cookies. And here the cookies are existing physically, and those are called as objects. And we are giving the certain shape. So cookie cutter, based upon the cookie cutter, it is taking the shape. We can say that the cookie cutter is a class, whereas the cookies are objects. And if you consider the cat as an object, and here the cat is performing the two actions, one is sleeping, another one is playing. And if you want to represent the object cat in the form of a programming language, it will be represented like this. This is one small example how a Java program looks like this. Here we are creating a class called as a cat. A class, what it does is we are specifying how the cat looks like. Here the behavior of the class cat will be represented in the form of a methods, whereas the properties of the object are represented in the form of instance variables. And if you observe this, the name of the class is called as a cat, and the variables are nothing but the properties of the cat are represented like instance variables. Name, age, color, breed, these are the instance variables of the class. And its behavior are specified with the instance methods. Instance methods specifies what that object does. The cat is sleeping, the cat is playing, like a cat will eat, all those are specified in the form of methods. This is the way how the objects and classes are represented in the Java programming language. And this is the, as I told, class is a blueprint, and objects are the one which follows that blueprint which existing physically. Here the objects apple, banana, mango, those are all the objects which existing physically, and all of them will follow a blueprint of fruit. A class fruit consisting of different instance variables like shape, color, price, or weight. Each and every object will be having those features. Apple is having red in color, apple is round in shape, and it is having some weight and some price. Like that, even banana and mango are also having the same properties. And there is one more example, and objects are Volvo car, Audi car, and Toyota car. And all these are cars existing physically, and all these cars are following the one template called car. A car can be specified with some properties like brand, its color, and its price. So a class represents the template or objects which they have to follow, whereas the object is instance of the class. And the same example is represented in the image. Here the class is a car, and BMW is one car which is following the features of the car, and Tesla is one more car which is following the features of this one. And these are all the objects, and this is the class. And each and every object is represented with two things. One is the property, another one is the method. The properties are represented with the instance variables. For class called car, the properties are color, sunroof, price, brand. And the methods how the car behaves. We can apply the brakes, we can use the steering for driving, we can blow the horn. This is the some process we need to follow to perform those actions. Another one is message passing. Once we have the objects, they can communicate each other by sending the messages. And here we have the four objects, and each object is associated with two things. One is data, another one is methods. The data is nothing but the instance variables, whereas method is a function and which is used to perform some task by using the data present in the classes. And this is the structure of a Java program. In the structure of a Java program, initially we are going to specify the package details. Package details means similar to the header files in C language. What are all the packages that are required, we need to include at the beginning of the program. After that, we need to specify the class. Each and every class will be associated with the class name. The class is specified by using the class keyword. Each class consisting of the instance variables or the data members, and it has the methods. And this is the main method. If you want to execute any Java program, we should have the main method. Unlike C language main method, the main method in Java little bit different. See this is the name of the method, main, and void represents the main method is not returning any value. That is the reason the return type is void. And the public, this is called as an access specifier. If the access specifier is specified as a public, if this main method, you can access the main method by anybody. The static indicates that before creation of the object, we can access the main method. For that reason, we are using the static. And this main method is taking the one string type of array as parameter. And within the main method, we can write some executable statements. This is the general structure of a Java program. Anyhow, we'll be discussing about some practical Java programs. There, once again, I'll be showing you these how to write a simple Java program. But all the Java programs are all having a similar structure. So if you want to make use of the packages in your program, then we need to use the one keyword called as import. And this is the name of the package called IO package. And each class should be preceded with the keyword called class and followed by the name of the class. Here, the name of the class is given as a sum. After that, the data members. Data members are simply variables. So these are the variables present in this class called sum. And methods. And method is nothing but a function similar to the C language, where it will be having the some set of statements which are used to perform a task. The methods are implemented within the class. And this is the main method. And main method, some executable statement. Similar to the printf function in C language to display output onto the screen, here there is a method similar to that called system.out.println, and what are the text that you want to display, it has to be specified within the double quotes. This is the general structure of a Java program. Here we are creating a class called as a box, class followed by the box, and here we are representing only the instance variables. No methods are represented here, and depending upon the access given to the different set of people, different data will be given the access to the different people. The data that should be available to the all will be represented with public, and the data that is not should not be accessible to the others are represented with the private access specifiers. After that, if you want to access the data present in the class, whether it may be the instance variables or the methods, if you want to access the data of the class from outside, then it will be accessed only by using the object of that class. So B1, B2, B3 are the objects of the class called box. By using these objects only, we can access the instance variables and methods of this class. And one more object-oriented feature called as a data abstraction. Abstraction means we need to represent only the essential features by hiding the inner details. For example, if I want to specify the information of a book, and that information of the book, generally we specify the author of the book, title of the book, price, and number of pages. These are the essential information that is required to specify a book. But the book consisting of so much other information like about the author and index pages, some diagrams, all that information we are not specifying when we are specifying a book. That is called as a data abstraction. That means whatever the information that is required for the user, we are representing only that essential information by hiding the inner details. That is called as a data abstraction. If you are representing all the information to the user, it will be the complex. That is the reason only the essential features are represented. For example, if you see this image, this is a mobile phone. When we are talking about the mobile phone, we talk about the certain features of the mobile, like what is the brand, what is its price, what is its camera resolution, and what is its processor. Apart from this, there are so many other things are involved in the mobile phone manufacturing, like number of panels and what each panel consisting of, what are all the semiconductor devices it is using, and what is the material that is made up of the battery. And all this information is not required when we purchase the mobile. What are all the features that are required? Only we are representing those features by hiding the inner details. Next one is data encapsulation. Encapsulation means you are protecting the data of the class from the outside environment by using the concept of encapsulation. We can achieve the concept of encapsulation in Java language by creating the class. If you see this image, for example, the bottom granules are nothing but the data which are present in the variables, and the yellow color is representing some methods which will be working on this data. Now a shield is protected these two parts. That shield is nothing but the class, such that if you are keeping these variables and methods together within a class, nobody will be having the direct access to the variables and methods. This is called as a encapsulation. Encapsulation means binding the data and methods together such that it will not be having the direct access to the outside world. We are providing the security to the data in the form of an encapsulation. This feature is lagging in the procedure-oriented programming languages like C language. Now, inheritance. And one of the main important features of the object-oriented programming is inheritance. By using the concept of inheritance, we are providing the reusability. So reusability means, suppose we have created one program or one class. After that, if we want to make use of the same class in another class, then by using the concept of inheritance, without redefine the existing things, we can make use of that by using the concept of inheritance. Even this feature is also lacking in the procedure-oriented programming languages. Because of that, again we need to repeat the same code again and again. But because of the inheritance, there is no need to uh, re there is no need to do the same thing again and again. We can do that by using the we can define only once, we can use it any number of times. That is called as a reusability. And here there will be two classes generally. The class which is giving the features to the other class, that is called the base class. The another name for the base class is parent class or uh, superclass. And the class that is deriving the features is called as a derived class or child class or subclass. For example, you see this image. Here this is the parent and he is the child. By default, the features of the parent will be inherited into the child. By using the concept of inheritance, the child is acquiring the features from its parent. Polymorphism, as the name implies that poly means multiple, morphism means forms. One thing in multiple forms is called as a polymorphism. The reason why we need to have the polymorphism is, for example, if we consider the C language. In C language, I want to write a method called add to add the two numbers. I am using the method name as add. There I am passing the two parameters, integer and integer. Suppose if I want to perform the addition between the one integer value and one float type of value, I cannot use the same name, though I am performing the same action. That means I am performing the same operation called addition. Again, if I want to add two more float numbers, again I need to write one more function, where I need to give the different name. That means, though you are performing the same action, you cannot use the same name for the different methods in C language. But coming to the Java language, we can write the same method name for performing the different operations in different ways. So generally, the polymorphism in Java is implemented by using the two concepts. One is called as overloading, another one is called as overriding. And the overloading is of the two types, or polymorphism is of two types. One is compile time polymorphism, another one is the runtime polymorphism. We are going to look about all these features in detail in the further lectures. And polymorphism, if you take a real example, if you take a person will be playing different roles in different situations. A person can be playing as an employee in an office, and he will be playing a tutor for a student, and he will be playing a role called as a father for his children, and the same person is playing a role, becomes son or daughter for their parents, and he becomes the spouse to the her spouse. Here we are one person in multiple forms. That is the meaning of polymorphism, and this is implemented in the form of a overloading and overriding concepts in Java language. So this is all about object-oriented features. So the object-oriented features we discussed are class, object, polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, and encapsulation. Any programming language that supports all these features are called as a object-oriented programming language. So this is all about its features. Thank you.